Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Alistair. Terror of any old man with cage fight on their bucket list, old school MMA fan, somehow Australia and New Zealand's number 17 amateur lightweight, and possibly the world's number 3 pancreas fan, considering I don't yet own any original merchandise. For today's classic MMA revival episode, I'm going to the oldest of the old school and running the first of the pancreas shows. Yes, we are Hybrid Wrestlers 1. But first, a brief history lesson. Carl Gotch and Billy Robinson beat up everyone in the US of A, with the possible exception of Lou Thesz. They moved to Japan and revolutionized the way pro wrestling is seen by bringing in legitimate moves. Inoki has the world's most boring shoot against Muhammad Ali, Akira Maeda kicks various people, and the first UWF is born. And shoot style comes into existence. Maeda and Sayama disagree on the direction of shoot style. They decide to settle it in the ring, shoot on each other, and Maeda kicks him super hard in the dick. The UWF forms apart, and Sayama says fuck all of you and goes off and forms his own thing called Shuto. Everyone rejoins New Japan Pro Wrestling. Maeda decides to kick someone in the face again, and UWF 2.0 is born. This is where we start really caring. Funaki and Suzuki, along with their mentor Yoshiaki Fujiwara, join the UWF. They truly believe that pro wrestling can be a true combat sport. Their mentor, Fujiwara, perpetual old guy who has looked 40 since his 12th birthday, agrees with them. When the UWF 2.0 falls apart, they form the PWFG together, and they get various shoot matches against Thai boxers. Funaki and Suzuki, along with some of the younger wrestlers and a gigantic American inexplicably known as Wayne, get a real taste for legit competition, beyond beating the shit out of people who aren't cooperating with them in the ring. At this time, the PWFG starts going in a direction they disagree with, bringing in elements from Lucha Libre. Sick of being in the shadows of men like Takada, Maeda, and even their mentor Fujiwara, they strike out on their own with a bold vision. Pro wrestling, but all shoot, all the time, with barely modified UWF rules. And truly legitimate fights, but in shin guards, speedos, and in a wrestling ring. And here we go. Yes, we are Hybrid Wrestlers 1, Match 1. Minoru fucking Scary Suzuki versus Katsuomi Inagaki. So here we have Inagaki, and he's got some good-looking cauliflower ear. I've recently acquired some myself, so I'm noticing it on everybody now. But he looks to be absolutely shitting himself against the demon that is Minoru Suzuki. Suzuki had already earned a bit of a shooter reputation, 1 by being an Olympic alternate, 2 by being Fujiwara's student, and 3, in the ill-fated SWS promotion, some guy decided to not help Suzuki out in the ring, so Suzuki beat the shit out of him. He also had questionable shoot matches, a questionable match against, well, it's not questionable, he had a definite work against Maurice Smith at U Cosmos, and he had a shoot match or 2 in the PWFG against Thai boxers. Here we go, bell's rung, body kick from Inagaki, and Suzuki's in on that head outside single, and he's just picked him up and slung him to the ground like an absolute bitch. So yeah, Suzuki could wrestle, and at this time, there weren't many people that could fuck with Suzuki. And so Inagaki's showing some chops from the bottom, and he's trying to kick up for a knee bar, but Suzuki's got his elbow free, and he's going to use this to pass or potentially dive in a leg lock. In fact, he was searching for a heel hook there briefly. Oh, early slaps from Suzuki. Inagaki slapped back up, and Suzuki's jumped back on the leg locks. So we're in, well, we'll just call it a leg entanglement here. I'm sure there's one of those damn names. We'll call it double outside ashi, even though I have no idea what the hell that is. And Suzuki's trying for a straight ankle lock, but, oh, no, he switched to a heel hook. Inagaki was defending that straight ankle lock quite well, but now he's in trouble with that outside heel hook, and he's managed to roll over. Suzuki switched to a leg cross knee bar, and then used that to take top position. Nicely done, Suzuki. Inagaki's gone belly down, and Suzuki's taken top, and then hooked one leg for a wrestling ride. Inagaki tried to hit a sit out, and Suzuki shut that down. And look at that smirk! What an asshole! Suzuki, yeah, he's been working on his gimmick ever since he started pro wrestling, and it's just sort of evolved from that to his current one, which is the man with the worst with the worst personality in the world. He's all over Inagaki, but Inagaki's managed to stand back up. So body lock from Suzuki. Over under clinch. Nice knee from Inagaki on the inside, and Inagaki's gone to a single collar tie. Suzuki's got double underhooks. Attempted Koshiguruma headlock throw from Inagaki, but that's gotten him nowhere, and he is on the bottom now with Suzuki on his back with a single leg hook ride. If you watch Fujiwara tapes, he likes that position because the calf crush and other stuff that comes from it. Outside low kick. Ooh, nice hand combo from Inagaki here. He's doing pretty good. Nice stand up, which would be a sort of... Ooh, Suzuki slinging some palms back. Nice head kicks. But yeah, Inagaki always had a pretty good stand-up. I think he was a karateka before he started this. Nice single leg with an outside sort of reaping trip. And Inagaki's just frog kicked him off, and Suzuki's grabbed him with a tie clinch and hit a nice front snap down. He's got the guillotine here. Just front headlock, working back to a snap down. Nicely done. So we see the Greco-Roman stuff from Suzuki here. Now he's back to that single collar hook, and now he's hit a sort of Joachim Hansen roll to get Inagaki's back fully and properly. So now they're grip fighting. Suzuki's using that half Nelson to peel off that grip from Inagaki, far as I can tell. And Inagaki doesn't know what he's really doing. Oh, and Suzuki's locked up the choke. Inagaki's pulling down on the securing hand, so that's why you should hide the securing hand behind your body. Suzuki's getting his grips back, and he's going palm to palm, and that is just on the trachea. That is brutal. And Inagaki's ready to tap. In fact, I think he has tapped, but the referee does not give a shit because this is the first time he's been in there with a shoot, and they've stopped it. And Inagaki is out. And Suzuki's pretty happy. But yeah, Inagaki's fucking dead. Oh, he's come back too, where he's groggy. But he's managing to return to his feet. Yeah, he's back up. So now Suzuki will probably be telling him, well, defend the choke next time, you fucking idiot. So they've shaken hands. Inagaki's kowtowing, and Suzuki's having none of it, saying stand up. He's taking his hand off. Nice bow from the two of them. So yeah, that shows you what a fucking animal Suzuki was. And if you look at him between now and his time in the UWF, he is just way leaner. And Ken Shamrock is taking credit for that, and I don't really blame him. Because apparently he got everyone on the chicken and broccoli diet while he was there. And Suzuki is now walking over to the, I believe he's the boss man of All Japan Kickboxing. And if you're wondering what relevance that has, All Japan Kickboxing currently has Maurice Smith as their champion, I believe. Now, currently sort of have the rights to Maurice Smith. So Suzuki's asking for a kickboxing match with Maurice Smith. This would take place at Yes We Are Hybrid Wrestlers 3. And so that's a rematch of that old worked match which you have seen in the U Cosmos episode. I don't know if that was Classic MMA Rival or if it was just we were watching U Cosmos. But whatever it was, the Most Dangerous Man Alive today has already looked that one through. So Suzuki's going to cut a promo now. Yep, so he's just calling out Maurice Smith as we expected. So he's telling them that that's what he's done. So yeah, the crowd seemed pretty happy. And interesting thing about that match, which you probably, I don't know, unless you're a massive shoot style fan, you'll notice that that was incredibly short if you look at it as a sort of shoot style wrestling match. And that's because, well, if you've got to shoot with a guy who doesn't know as much as the other guy on the ground, usually it's pretty quick. And so that was the thing about Pancras when it came out in late 93. It completely, well, it didn't completely change, but it really started changing the way the shoot style promotion started running, because they massively cut the length of their matches in Because they used to go like an opening match would go for 20 minutes and be a draw between two young guys, whereas Pancras has just come along and go, that's not what happens. You got 3 minutes. So no entrances, and we're on to our second match. I'll just let the ring announcer introduce them. Indeed, it is Basu Rutan making his NHB, well, not even NHB, making his mixed debut here. And Ryushi Yanagisawa, previous karateka, wrestler for Pro Wrestling Fujiwara Gumi, aspiring kickboxer. Bas had I think it was a 15 fight fighting career for kickboxing in Holland. He was also a male model before shaving his head, and he finished his kickboxing career. He gassed out against, I believe, Frank Lobman, and then stopped his kickboxing career and decided to move into mixed fighting and got scouted by Pancras, and that was a good pickup from them. Oh, nice kick catch and an outside low from Bus. High kick, right straight in after the high kick. And that's how you throw a palm strike. So no doubt everyone's seen this match before because it's been on YouTube since time immemorial with Bus's commentary. But yeah, it's always good to see just, oh, you think bitch slaps are the way to go. No, slam your hand in there, right knee to the head, and Yanagisawa is down and fucked. So yeah, apparently this concussion was super bad, and Yanagisawa spent like 3 days in the hospital. And Bus is pretty happy with himself, understandably. Now, I bet you when they zoom out, the guy with his right hand taped up is Kuma Kunihoku! I thought so. If you watch my Pancras reviews, which only 100 people actually do, but I don't know how much crossovers there is between this channel and my own, you will know that Kuma Kunioku has his right hand taped up all the time for some reason or other, and I'm not sure what it is. But yeah, Yanagisawa looks, yeah, fucked. Ooh, he's not having a great time. So yeah, winner in 40 seconds by absolute murder is Basru. He's throwing spinning shit in the middle of the ring. And yeah, Yanagisawa was fucked. Bus is telling him to put ice in the back of his head, I think. Yanagisawa just accidentally elbowed Kunioku in the face, and Bus looks pumped. He was also unreasonably shredded at the time. Given his vehement hate for men who use steroids, you wonder how he got a body like that, but I've known people who look like Bus Rutan, and I'm fairly certain completely natural. And he also had that, he had eczema, and so his healing rate was accelerated by his body used to just being healing all the time with the eczema. Well, that's according to Bus anyway. So yeah, maybe he just produced a bunch of muscle for no good reason. Still, handsome dude. El guapo indeed. Alright, waiting for our next match. Oh, and they're mopping up the bits of Yanagisawa's brain fluid that are on the canvas. Yeah, apparently a lot of it came out. So it might seem a bit weird starting a fight promotion with just sort of 8 people. But that was how the UWF and UWF 2.0 started. Maeda and Takada in UWF 2.0, along with Yamasaki and Nakano and a couple of others. I can't remember all their names. They just sort of went off and formed their own wrestling organization. Oh, here we have Max Vergen Tiger Waito. Skinny young Vernon before he got on the Ken Shamrock diet properly. And kinda beefy Yusuke Fuke with his long hair. Fuke is a personal favorite of mine. He's not the greatest pancreas fighter, but he's got slick submissions, and he's just nuts, and he'll try pro wrestling bullshit in the ring. And if anything will make me a fan of you, it is trying bullshit in the ring. Good mullet on Fuke, and let's see what these boys have. Front kick from Vernon and a pair of slaps. Nice and landing solid. Another front kick, and Fuke's in on a double leg and turned the corner nicely and taken Vernon down. So yeah, Vernon at this time only really had Taekwondo, and he'd be working a little bit with Ken Shamrock, I believe, but not as much as he'd want to. And he's just trying to brute force his way out of this side control here. Over to mount, over to the other side goes Fuke, and now he's in scarf hold, and he's putting on a scarf hold armbar. But this is where Vernon earns his first nickname, the Worm, because he's just able to wriggle out of any position. And this submission, it's really Fujiwara inspired. Well, not Fujiwara inspired, because Fuke, of course, learned directly from Fujiwara, but if you watch a Fujiwara tape, you will see this scarf hold arm lock all the time. And look at the angle of that shoulder. And Vernon's making worrying noises, but he seems to be okay. He's saying he doesn't want to give up. And Fuke switched off of that and gone to an armbar. And Vernon's trying to escape at the back, but he's not doing a great job. And he's just gripping his hands together. And he's sort of coming up on top. But now, ooh, his grip's been broken. Oh, and that arm is very straight. And that is the end of the match. And Fuke is your winner by straight arm lock. And yeah, he's jumped on the second rope, and unlike Mark Coleman at the 2000 Grand Prix, hasn't made an ass of himself and fallen off. And yeah, he's so pumped. And a deep bow to each other. Lots of mutual respect. Fun fact, Tiger was Vernon's stripper name. Back in the day, he and Ken Shamrock, for extra money, would strip at a ladies' nightclub. So, there you go. So yeah, Fuke is pumped. Alright, here we have our next match. I didn't get the fight card, so I completely forget the order. It is Kazuo Takahashi versus George Weingroff. So George Weingroff was an amateur wrestler and a pro wrestler, and Kazuo Takahashi, he wrestled in the UWF and at school. He also was in the pro wrestling Fujiwara Gumi. He was Ken Shamrock's favorite training partner because he just didn't fucking care and would throw down. And if you talk to people about training at the Lions Den, it was just brawling apparently. So it sounds like something Ken Shamrock would be into. Interesting thing about George Weingroff, he's legally blind. And for some reason, at 41 years old and legally blind, he's in a pancreas ring in a shoot match. So let's see how this goes. Alright, match is underway. Boys have touched hands. Inside low from Takahashi, and he's stiff-armed out of that takedown attempt. And these just, yeah, keeping Weingroff away. Body punches. Oh, solid knee. That one looked like it hurt. And Weingroff's in on this body lock. But Takahashi was quite a good wrestler when he used his wrestling. So I don't know how much he's going to get from this sort of desperation takedown attempt in the corner of the ring. In fact, Takahashi's sort of turning him onto the ropes. Solid knee. He's managed to break the clinch and a bitch slap on the exit. And Weingroff doesn't look super pleased. Oh, big front kick. Weingroff is sort of ducking in with his head down. Not ideal. Low kick, bitch slap, stiff arm into a knee, and Weingroff is fucked. Nice little back roll to come back to his feet. Up at the 8 count. Alrighty, they're ready to go. Another clumsy double leg attempt. Clinch knee, another clinch knee, palm strike, and face. Oh, shin to the brain. Down goes the blind man, George Weingroff. Kazuo Takahashi does not give a shit if you're blind. He will boot you in the face. And be very excited about it. So yeah, he's thoroughly pumped. And Weingroff looks disappointed. Just listening to Run Riot by Def Leppard. Def Leppard, sorry. Alright, they'll be cleaning up the bits of George Weingroff's eyeballs that fell out in the ring, and we are on to, I believe, our main event. Or I could be completely fucking wrong. I really should have downloaded the fight card, sorry everybody. Actually, we might take a break here, considering there is actually a small pause in the video, so I'll see you when we resume. Right, we're back! Still waiting for the final match to begin. Various members of the audience are losing their mind and shouting names that sound like Funaki and Shamrock to me. So I think we're up to the main event, which is something to be excited about, because this is a pretty big fight. Alright, ring announcer comes in. I'm waiting with bated breath. Yes, it is indeed the world's most dangerous Wayne, Ken Shamrock. So I honestly have no idea, but for some reason, Ken Shamrock, Takaku Fuke, and Kazuo Takahashi all had sort of wrestler names. They were Wayne Shamrock, Yoshiki Tashahaki, and Yusuke Fuke. And I've got no idea what the purpose behind them was. And they kept them for the they kept them from the UWF all the way through, as far as I understand. So whereas Funaki and Suzuki kept their actual names for some reason, these guys decided to swap some in and out. So there you go, they're allowed. And yeah, this sounds like a copyright claim against this video. So who knows? Maybe or maybe not, we might have to mute out Ken Shamrock's walkout music. Well, considering that we've had like various parts of different songs play, I think we might be okay. Might sort of get multi-copyright claimed and then nothing will happen. Still, you never know. That is the mysteries of YouTube's algorithm. And Jesus Christ, Ken Shamrock is a big fucking dude. And here he is, the star, Masakatsu Funaki. So Funaki is weird because he was sort of very close to going down the same path as Maeda and Takada. Because he'd sort of been groomed for success. He had the look, he was a big guy. He won the Young Lions Championship in New Japan Pro Wrestling when he was just 16 years old. And people sort of let him get away with stuff. So he and Minoru Suzuki went out and got drunk one night, and they I don't know, broke something or offended somebody, and Suzuki was going to get kicked out of New Japan. But Funaki said, if you kick out Suzuki, I'm going too, and they said, alright, you can both stay. So obviously, there were high hopes for Funaki as a star, and I think he lived up to them, because he was always the biggest star at Pancras. Not necessarily like the top guy, the best competitor, the #1 fighter in the world, but he was sort of the guy people would come to see. And that's why he got the fight against Rickson Gracie at Coliseum 2000. And that's why his fight against Sakuraba, where he just comes out with that massive cape, is the pageantry is so there. And his one against what's his name? Kiyoshi Tamura, the same sort of thing. So that was, Funaki was sort of the biggest young star for a long time. And yeah, here is, I believe, one of the champions from All Japan Kickboxing coming in to give them the traditional gigantic bouquets, which I never really understood. If I'm gonna fight a dude, I don't want you to give me a giant bouquet just before the fight. But yeah, the usually taciturn crowd, they're excited for this matchup. Look at prime 1993 terrifying Ken Shamrock. Just unreasonably large. And Funaki was not a small dude. He is 91, 92 kilos. And yeah, just nothing on Ken. And the usual Wayne Shamrock death stare at the start of the match. And Funaki's in some nice peach trunks with the Japanese flag on them. And this is a pretty big match because these two, with the exception of Suzuki, were the top dogs. And at this point, I have no... oh, that's a body kick. Yeah, I think that that Funaki, Shamrock, and Suzuki were the best fighters in Japan, at least. If not the world. Oh, nice low kick. Trade of swings. Funaki threw a big overhand. Shamrock's underwritten into this clinch. And you do not want to be in a clinch with Ken Shamrock. Nice bitch slap on the exit there by Funaki. Outside low. Nice palm strike, good body kick afterwards. He's throwing that overhead right again, and he's back in the clinch with Ken Shamrock. Shamrock's using that underhook, bitch slap on the exit. Nice little stand-up fight here. Front kick from Shamrock. Funaki tries to duck him for a takedown, and Shamrock used the sidestep. That most aged of techniques. Nice beach slap from Ken Shamrock here. And people will talk shit on Ken Shamrock's stand-up. It sort of fell apart later in his career, but early on, nice body punch. Because of the confidence he had in his wrestling, he could throw hands with anybody. Like, he even outstruck Maury Smith. Good body kick from Funaki there, but Shamrock's in on that body lock, and Funaki's thinking to roll for an E-bar, but Shamrock's keeping his legs out of the way, and so now he's going to buckle Funaki down and just sit on his hips. Because Shamrock was a damn good wrestler. Funaki's trying to hit a sit out there, and Shamrock shut it down. Nice crossface. Good shot of the referee's ass. And the shot of Funaki deep in thought. So that is something that Funaki and Fujiwara shared. Not necessarily... So, Fujiwara, I don't think was ever in a shoot match. But you see in his worked matches, when he's caught in a submission, he sort of goes into himself and thinks how he's going to get out of it. And Funaki's got that same sort of methodical, alright, I'm stuck here, but let's think for a minute and work our way out, rather than sort of going ballistic and trying to escape. I've stolen that observation from the men at Fighting Network friends. You should listen to that podcast. But I definitely agree with them, and I think it is an interesting sort of sign between master and student here. And so Shammy's in mount here, grinding his forearm in the face, the fairly standard lion's den position of, I know I'm not really going to try for anything, but I'm just going to grind my elbow in your eye socket until you give me an arm that I can jump on. So Funaki's tried to bridge and escape there. Half Nelson, what was that? Quarter Nelson. Quarter Nelson from Shamrock turning him over, trying for the head arm choke, but Funaki slips out. He's wise. Back to the forearm grinding. And Funaki's gone belly down. And he's tapping at Shamrock's arm for some reason. Shamrock's sort of folding him up, keeping him down. Grinding those forearms in Funaki's face, and Funaki's trying to get up to his knees and go out the back door, I think. Half Nelson from Shamrock here. Straightening out Funaki's legs. Sort of staying on him. I like watching Prime Shamrock. Because he's just all this cool catch wrestling stuff. Double, full Nelson there. And now he's diving for a toe hold over the top of Funaki's back. And Funaki's gone belly up and sort of gotten out of that. And Shamrock's probably going to think knee bar on that leg the way he's trapped it. Funaki's trying to recover guard. Shamrock spins for a knee bar, but Funaki gets his knee up. Funaki's thinking toe hold. Shamrock's gone to straight ankle lock, but Funaki's knee is not pinched, so he can move his knee and keep the pressure off his Achilles tendon. And Funaki's trying to extract himself from this leg lock fight, and Shamrock's keeping him stuck there. And now Funaki's going for a straight ankle lock of his own on Shamrock. But he hasn't quite developed the nasty one that would serve him well later in his career. He especially can't get it from this position because he's doing it on Shamrock's free leg rather than his trapped leg. And the referee has stood them up. Alright, here we go. Backstanding. Nice body kick from Shamrock. Nice lead hook from Funaki. Nice clinch knee from Shamrock. Funaki's tried for a single leg, but he's been turned over with a beautiful whizzer from Ken Shamrock. And Shamrock's gone straight in the mount, straight into that forearm grinding, and you can see the thought as well as the pain on Funaki's head. It's just like, this is uncomfortable, but I'm thinking about it. How do I get out of here? So he's trying to go belly down, but Shamrock tried to snatch up that head arm choke there, and Funaki got wise and recovered his arm quickly. So Shamrock with that low on the hips mount, and with the legs grapevine, that's a good control position. Not good for ground and pound, but good for controlling on the ground. And guess what this is? It's Pancras, so no one really cares about ground and pound. Grinding forearm, Funaki's tried to go belly down, and Shamrock has locked up a head arm choke with his gigantic lats and huge biceps. And that is not a good place to be. So Funaki's pushing down on his own wrist. That's creating some space up up on his neck with his carotid artery. But it's not that's not something he can maintain. So maybe he's hoping that Shamrock will gas his arms out. But Shamrock isn't squeezing too hard. I think he's got it tight, but he's not just sort of going apeshit on it. And he's adjusting the position, driving his shoulder into Funaki's throat. Yeah, tightening up that grip now. And Funaki's let go, and he started tapping. And that's it! And Shamrock goes slightly mad. That is right, Ken. You have won the first ever. Yes, we are the first ever Pancras show. Yes, we are Hybrid Wrestlers. Number 1, you have won the main event. And yeah, Funaki just some water that went down the wrong way. But yeah, so that was it. That was the first all-shoot show in Japan, as far as I can tell. That was promoted as a wrestling show. So an interesting sort of little difference between Pancras and Shuto is Shuto promoted itself as a martial arts competition, whereas Pancras said, we're wrestling, but we're real. So that difference allowed Pancras to make a bunch more money until Shuto sort of latched onto the Vale Tudo Japan label and sort of created those shows and started doing a little bit better. It was sort of a niche product for a while, and Pancras was absolutely white hot after this show. And so there you go. And Shamrock and Funaki raised each other's hands. And that's probably huge for Shamrock too, because Funaki, according to Shamrock in interviews and his book, Funaki taught him a lot of shit. So I imagine he was pretty darn pumped after this. And he also has a massive pump, as you can see. Jesus Christ, he was a big dude. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed that. I always wanted to revisit Yes We Are Hybrid Wrestlers 1, because it was the first event I ever wrote up in my little shitty series that I do on the underground forums, and since then my style has evolved a little bit. Become a little less childish as far as I sort of look at it. And I thought that, going back and looking at this one would be a good excuse to put up another Classic MMA Revival episode. Also, it's a good excuse to stick up the following.
This Saturday, senior citizen abuser Alistair Fleming, fresh off a win at Western Region Fight Night 4, takes on Australian top team prospect Brandon Sladinsky at Urban Fight Night 13. Like Urban Fight Night on Facebook for more details. Also, there's a bunch of other people fighting.